Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are tackling a subject that I think a lot of us wrestle with, usually at about, 3 a.m. on a Sunday night.
Ah, yes. The existential dread time slot.
Exactly. And the question is this. As we get richer, as we, climb that career ladder, does life actually get freer or do we just become busier?
Because the thing we all hold on to is that money buys freedom.
Right. That's the promise.
It is. Work hard, get the promotion, get the raise, and then you can finally relax. But the sources we're looking at today, they suggest that, well, without a very specific plan, the exact opposite happens.
The paradox of progress.
It really is. You get the money, but you end up with less time, more stress, just more complexity.
You create one set of problems for a much more expensive set.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at documents today that revolve around this concept of the slave of money. It paints this really vivid picture of a default path where, as your financial status goes up, your actual time, it just crashes.
And you end up in what they call the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
And that's the core conflict we're exploring. We've got a set of frameworks here, like a 4-stage financial evolution and something called the 3 by 8 hours rule that really explain why this trap exists.
And more importantly, how to pick the lock.
Precisely. The goal here is to bridge that gap between wealth and freedom. And the central idea we're looking at is a triad. If you take nothing else away today, remember this.
Okay.
Money is the tool. Time is the asset.
And mindset.
Mindset is the bridge.
I love that because most people get it completely backward. They treat time as the tool to get the money.
Exactly. They burn the furniture to heat the house, and that's where all the trouble starts.
Okay, so let's jump straight into it. The reality of time. The sources start with a concept they call the great equalizer.
Right, and the source material doesn't really pull any punches here. It says, look, the world is not fair.
No.
You might be born in a rural village. Someone else is born into Bill Gates' family. The starting lines are completely different.
But the equalizer isn't money. It's the clock.
It is. The one truly fair thing is that everyone, CEO, intern, you name it, gets exactly 24 hours in a day. You cannot buy a 25th hour.
And the argument is that how you allocate those 24 hours is a better predictor of where you end up than, your starting bank account.
And that brings us to the 3 8-hours rule. It seems simple, but the strategy behind it is where the magic is.
Okay, so block 1, the first 8 hours. This is work. This is the time you sell.
Yes, the transaction. You give time, they give money. But here's where the advice gets interesting. It doesn't say work harder. It says you must not hate this time.
That feels like a tall order for a lot of people. Don't hate your job.
It does, but look at the math. If you hate your job, 1/3 of your entire life is meaningless. You're training your brain to be miserable.
So it's not just about doing a good job for the company. It's about your own internal standards.
No, it's selfish in the best possible way. It's about building your own identity. Things like being hardworking, self-disciplined, those are portable assets.
They travel with you.
They travel with you. If you quit, you're not just hurting the company, you're degrading your own identity. You're practicing being lazy. And we get good at what we practice.
That's a heavy reframe. Okay, so that's block 1. Let's talk about the second 8 hours. Discretionary time.
This is the game changer. The first 8 hours pays your bills. The second 8 hours, that determines your future.
This is the commute, the reading, the gym, and, yes, the doom scroll.
Right. And this is where the gap opens. You can have 2 people, same job, same salary. 5 years later, one is stuck and the other is a leader. Why? It's what they did in those second 8 hours.
This is where they bring in that Jim Rohn principle, isn't it?
That's the one. We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. It's the law of averages.
It's a bit confronting when you put it that way. If I audit my second 8, was I, building a good student of life identity or just zoning out?
It's a harsh question. The source asks, are you building independent thinking or just consuming entertainment? If your second 8 is just Netflix and complaining about the first 8, you're in a loop.
Just repeating the same day over and over. And then briefly, the third wind, 8 hours, rest.
Sleep and time with family. And again, this isn't just throwaway time. This block reveals your attributes of support and respect. It's where you build the identity of a good partner or parent.
It's all connected. If this block is chaotic, the other 2 probably collapse.
They do.
Yeah.
So that's the daily view. But let's zoom out to a whole life. This is where the MQ stage framework comes in. The 4 stages of financial and time evolution.
This is my favorite part because it explains that trap we mentioned at the start.
It does. It shows why the path from survival to freedom is not a straight line. It actually gets harder before it gets easier.
Okay, so Stage 1, the survival phase. We all know this one.
We've all been there, the laborer.
Hmm.
Financially, it's just enough to pay the bills, and your relationship with time is totally linear. 1 hour of work equals X amount of money.
And the mindset is just pure scarcity.
Total scarcity. How do I pay the bills? But here's the key indicator, and it's counterintuitive. In stage 1, you see time as cheap.
Cheap. But they have the least free time.
Right. But they have the least leverage. This is the person who will queue for an hour to save $5. They're trading their life, a non-renewable resource, for a tiny bit of money.
It's a reactive state. No buffer, no slack.
You're just trying to stay afloat. You can't think about strategy when you're drowning.
Okay, so let's say you grind. You optimize that second 8 hours, you get the promotion. You graduate to stage 2, the high income phase, the manager, the professional.
And here is where it gets really interesting and dangerous.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Your financial situation improves, you have a surplus, maybe you buy the nice car, but your time, it becomes highly constrained.
Why constrained? Shouldn't more money mean more options?
More financial options, sure, but fewer time options. You're paid for stress, for responsibility, for availability. You're the manager on call, the lawyer with billable hours.
The source calls this the danger zone.
It is, because your financial progress is going up, but your time progress is going down.
So that's the paradox. You're richer, but you're actually poorer in time. You've just upgraded your cage.
Exactly. And the dominant emotion isn't survival anymore, it's fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of losing what you've built. If I stop running on this treadmill, will I fall off? It's a preservation mindset. You're just guarding the pile.
I think a lot of our listeners are parked right here in those golden handcuffs. So how do you break out? How do you get to stage 3?
Stage 3 is the leverage phase, the business owner, the investor. The shift happens when income starts to detach from the hours you physically work. But the biggest action is something they call buying back time.
Buying back time. Okay, what does that look like?
Well, in stage 2, you might mow your own lawn to save money. In stage 3, you hire a gardener. Not because you're lazy, but because you've done a valuation.
You've put a price on your own hour.
Correct. You say, my time is worth RM500 an hour. Why would I do an RM50 an hour task? It's an arbitrage. You're buying time at a discount.
That is a huge mental shift. It's not about saving money anymore. It's about optimizing your time.
Precisely. They use cash to buy convenience. The source mentions flying business class. And it's not just for the champagne.
I wouldn't say no to the champagne.
Neither would I. But the strategic reason is to sleep. They're paying to land, ready to execute. It's an ROI calculation.
There was a really great point in the notes about stage 3 and crises.
Oh, that's a critical distinction. When a crisis hits, stage 1 and 2 are asking, how long can I survive?
They're playing defense.
Right. Stage 3 has liquidity, has optionality. They ask, what is becoming mispriced? Where's the opportunity? They can play offense while everyone else is just trying to survive.
Which brings us to stage 4, the freedom phase. The sovereign.
This is true financial independence. Your assets cover your lifestyle. You don't work for money anymore, and time becomes abundant. You control the who, what, where, and when.
It sounds incredible, but what do you do? I imagine you'd get bored just sitting on a beach.
And that's the misconception. Stage 4 isn't about doing nothing. It's about purpose and legacy. Your view on time shifts from spending it to deploying it.
Deploying it like capital.
Exactly. You invest your time in things that create deep meaning or disproportionate outcomes. The question changes from how do I make money to what is the meaning of my life?
Okay, so to recap the evolution, stage 1 is how do I survive? Stage 2 is how do I not lose this? Stage 3 is what's my hourly rate? And stage 4 is what's my purpose?
That is the perfect summary.
But here's the kicker. We all know people who make stage 4 money, but they still act like they're stuck in stage 2. Stressed, hoarding, always rushing. Why?
This is the mindset bridge. The source is very clear on this. Financial progress gives you the option for more time, but not the result.
You have to actually exercise that option.
You do. It's a software problem.
Yeah.
Your bank account is a supercomputer, but you're running this old, clunky operating system.
So how do you upgrade the software?
The sources identify 3 critical shifts. The first is moving from cost to investment.
Right, like the gardener example.
Let's go deeper. The old mindset sees hiring a PA and thinks, that's expensive. It just sees money leaving. The new mindset asks, what does that money buy me?
It buys you 10 hours a week of high-level thinking time.
And if you use that time to close one new deal, it pays for the assistant for a whole year. You see the profit in the expense.
Okay, what's the second shift?
From security to freedom. The old mindset thinks security is a big pile of cash in the bank that you never touch.
Scrooge McDuck.
Exactly. But cash is trash if it's just sitting there. The new mindset understands that deploying money into assets that create passive cash flow is what creates actual freedom.
You have to trust the flow, not just the pile.
Well said. And the third one, this one is the hardest for high achievers. It's from input to output.
Oh, this one hits home.
It does. For anyone who succeeded in the corporate world, we're taught to take pride in hard work, the long hours, the first one in, last one out.
Input equals output. If I want more, I have to put in more.
But you hit a ceiling. There are only 24 hours. The new way, the business mindset, is leverage equals output. You have to take pride in effectiveness, not just effort.
Stop bragging about how busy you are.
Yes, being busy is often a sign of lazy thinking.
It's not about how hard you row the boat. It's about whether you put up a sail.
Perfect analogy. And the source gives us a specific sequence for this. You can't just jump straight to the identity shift.
That's the sequence.
First, financial stability. Get the base. Then, time margin. You have to claw back some time. Third, structured thinking. And then, the identity shift.
That time margin step is where people trip up. They get the stability, but they fill the new time with more work.
That's the critical error. They skip the thinking and identity work and just keep pedaling harder, and you end up with a stage 4 bank account and a stage 2 life.
Which brings us right back to the beginning, not becoming that slave of money.
It really emphasizes that money doesn't change people. It just reveals the operating system they're already running. You have to consciously evolve from an accumulator to an allocator.
An allocator.
Someone who places resources, money, and time where they'll do the most good. Someone who plays the game of life, not just keep score.
I love the distinction the notes make between the reactive state and the proactive state.
It's a simple audit. Look at your day. Did you say, I attended a webinar, I sat in a meeting? That's reactive. You were a passenger.
Versus,
I'm going to do this. I want to become this.
yeah,
That's proactive. It sounds simple, but maintaining that stance is an act of rebellion.
it really is. And the alternative, well, the source leaves us with a quote that just lands hard. It's a warning.
It warns that if you don't actively exercise that option to buy back time, a person will die the richest man in the graveyard, but with zero time enjoyed.
Oof, the richest man in the graveyard. That puts the golden handcuffs into a very different perspective.
It does. The money is just the scoreboard. The time is the actual game. If you spend the whole game staring at the scoreboard, you miss the play. So what this all means for you listening is that financial success isn't the finish line. It's just a tool. It gives you permission to change how you live.
Yeah, but you have to sign the permission slip yourself. I'd suggest a practical takeaway.
Go for it.
Tonight, audit your 3x8 hours. Where are you on the 4 stages? If you're in stage 2, feeling squeezed, what's one thing you can buy back this week? Even if it's just getting your groceries delivered, start exercising that allocator muscle.
That's a great challenge. Don't let the hours happen to you. Design them. Because remember, money is the tool, time is the asset, and mindset. That's the bridge.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll leave you with that thought. Are you building a life of freedom or just a really comfortable cage? Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.